Hello everyone, it's Heather and I am here to give you another update on my ankle. Today is Friday, April 2nd, 2021, and it has been 4 months since I fell down the stairs and hurt my ankles. If you haven't been following along, I will link the entire playlist of this ankle injury journey at the end of this video. Today is the day that I posted my video on my 4-month update. So if you haven't watched that yet, please go back and watch that update and I will link it right up here. Okay, near the end of that video, I said that I was probably going to call the doctor and hopefully he would do an MRI. And I was initially saying that I wanted to wait until I was fully vaccinated, which I'm getting my second vaccine on April 15th. And so then another 2 weeks after that, I would be considered fully vaccinated. However, I've decided not to wait because I read something that kind of terrified me a little bit. And I did only see this in one place. It was on the website of a orthopedic specialist and ankle specialist's website. And it was an article about different types of ankle injuries. And it said that once you pass the 3-month mark, that without serious intervention or treatment of the ankle, the more time passes, the higher the risk of it becoming a permanent disability. And that really kind of put the fear of God into me and made me really nervous because I already kind of feel like that. Like, this is how my ankle is now, and I'm really scared that this is how it's going to stay. And that made me very nervous because I don't want my ankle to be like this. I can't do a lot of the things I used to be able to do, and it hurts all the time. And so I decided to go ahead and call the doctor today. And I had a lot of back and forth with the clinic. The doctor's actually in surgery today. Today is his day that he does surgeries. The receptionist just wanted me to make another appointment. And I was like, no. At my last visit, which I found out was in January, he said when I was there that if you're not better by 3 months, which was a month ago, I was supposed to call and schedule an MRI, which I did not do because I thought I was still improving. But then, like I said in my 4-month update, this past month, like through the month of March, my improvement just sort of stopped and it just hasn't gotten any better from where it was at the beginning of March in the past month. I called and she wanted to just schedule me another appointment. And I'm like, no, he said I was supposed to just have an MRI. And so she said, okay, I'm going to have to leave a message for someone on his team and they're going to call you back. And then I had a little phone tag going on. And then I did talk to a nurse or an assistant or whatever. And she said, I need to check and see if he left the form in the file, in the chart for the MRI people. So he would have had to fill out, like an order for an MRI saying what exactly he wanted them to focus on or look at or scan or whatever. And so she put me on hold for a minute and she went and looked and he did not do that. She's like, I don't have the form, so I can't skip you to the MRI. You're going to have to come back and see the doctor, which I totally understand. That's fine. And then she read me his actual notes and he did say the words tendon tear in the notes from my January visit. So I think he thinks I tore the tendon or tendons since it hurts in more than one place. And she said, reevaluate at 3 months or in 8 weeks from that appointment is what it said. Reevaluate 8 weeks from today, which was at the beginning of January. So I was supposed to get reevaluated in March, at the beginning of March, which I didn't do. So I'm kind of past due for that. But she didn't sense like a real sense of urgency with his notes. She read it to me and it said, and then may order an MRI at that time. Otherwise, it just said follow up as needed. So he didn't seem too panicked, I guess. And so then after I got off the phone with her, I did make an appointment for Thursday, April 8th. And I get to see him right here in the clinic in my own town rather than having to drive the next town over where his main office is. He comes here like once a week or once a month or something. And so that's nice. So I'll see him on Thursday and he'll look at it again and tell me what he thinks and then may or may not order an MRI. Now here's why I say I think he might still not order an MRI. Remember last time in the video I said, I think if I go back, he's just going to add more time? I think I'm right. After I got off the phone with her, I looked it up again. And so now that she told me that the words tendon tear were in his notes, I looked it up a little differently and I said, how long does it take a torn tendon in an ankle to heal? And it brought me back to that information about the 3 grades of sprain: a grade 1 sprain, a grade 2 sprain, and a grade 3 sprain. And if you tear the tendon, that's a grade 3 sprain. And so I think that is what I have. And it says very clearly in all the medical literature that I looked at that a grade 3 sprain takes 3 to 6 months to heal. So I think my dear doctor's master plan has been to assume the best and then change it as we go along. And this is what I mean. At the first visit, he gave me the prognosis as if it was a grade 1 sprain and said it'll take this many weeks to heal. If it doesn't heal by then, come back and maybe we'll do an MRI. So then when I came back, because it still wasn't healed, at that visit in January, he gave me the timeline for a grade 2 sprain. If it hasn't healed by 3 months, come back and then maybe we'll do an MRI. And so now I think I'm going to go in there and I think he's going to say, it's going to take up to 6 months, because at that point he'll know this is a grade 3 sprain and that's just how long it's going to take. That's what I think he's doing, which I can totally understand, but he's assuming the best. He probably doesn't want to give me the worst case scenario and freak me all out. And then, because then if he's wrong and it's actually not as bad as that, well, then I think I'm better before he said. That doesn't make any sense. So I kind of see what he's doing. I think that's what he's doing. And I think that's probably what it is, which kind of goes back to what I said at the beginning of the video in my 4-month update. This is what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that's what it is. I'm hoping it's a grade 3 sprain. I tore 1 or 2 tendons in my ankle and it's going to take up to 6 months to heal. This is my hope. My only concern is I am a little bit unsure as to why I haven't seen any progress in the past month. So from the beginning of March until the beginning of April now, it doesn't seem to be any better. But maybe I just overdid it by going to Chicago, and so I set myself back a couple of weeks. That's a possibility. And so as I stay home and I'm not doing as much and I stay off of it as much as I can and I don't overdo it, maybe it will start to heal and recover again as we go forward. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. So that's where I'm at, and I will give you an update after I see the doctor on April 8th. Hello, everyone. It is Thursday, April 8th, 2021, and I just got back from my visit with my podiatrist. By the way, my podiatrist is also an orthopedic foot and ankle surgeon, just so you're aware of that. Okay, he thoroughly examined my ankle, talked to me about what I was experiencing with the pain and walking and going down the stairs and things like that, and he decided very quickly you are going to have an MRI now. He seemed quite concerned. He's not concerned about the part, like I've said before, I think I injured 2 tendons. He's not concerned about the one on the top front of my foot. He's not worried about that, even though it's still a little sore. He's very concerned about the one that goes up the side of my ankle. And he also commented, he said, you've still got a pretty good cankle there, which I had to look that up when I got home. That's a combination of calf and ankle, and it's an unusual swelling of where your calf meets your ankle, where it's unusually thick. So I think what he was saying is it's still obviously inflamed and swollen there, and I can even feel what he's saying. It's definitely not like the other one. He seems pretty positive I tore that tendon. But he said, you don't always tear it just on the sides. He said it might have torn vertically. So, going up the side of my leg, basically. And he said, his exact words were, if that's what it is, we have to fix it. So he said this in his nice, charming way, but I took that to mean if we don't fix it, I will be permanently disabled. And fixing it means he's going to have to do a surgical repair. So I have my MRI scheduled for Wednesday, so in just under a week, Wednesday the 14th. And then I have my follow-up appointment with him scheduled here the next time he's here in my town, the Thursday, 2 weeks from today. So Thursday the 22nd. And then he will tell me the results of my MRI and tell me what we have to do next. I have mixed feelings. He's obviously taking it very seriously. He's obviously very concerned. There's obviously still something wrong with it. If that is what it is, if it's what he thinks it is, I'm hoping that it's a relatively simple surgery. I don't know. I'm pretty freaked out by the idea of surgery. The only surgery I've ever had was an emergency D&C after my delivery of Andrew because my placenta did not deliver. After attempting to get the placenta out in a variety of ways, they made the decision very quickly that I had to move into surgery so I didn't bleed to death, and they put me under so fast I didn't even really have time to think about it. So that's the only experience I had with surgery, and I am very concerned with, I don't know, I mean, I'm speculating because I don't even know if I'm going to need surgery at this point, but I'm scared if it's one of the ones where they don't put you completely out. That freaks me out because I'm like, I don't want them like doing stuff to my ankle when I'm awake. But I'm also scared if they have to put me completely out because I've never done that since I've had kids. Well, except for what I just said. And so I don't want to like something happen to me and Ben and Megan be left all alone. So I'm kind of freaked out about that too. I'm just generally freaked out. And also our house is absolutely horrible. Well, we've already experienced that it's absolutely horrible when I can't walk and do things. So I don't know. Would surgery really be any different? Recovering? I don't know.
Well, yeah, at the end of recovery, you're all better.
Good point. But I was just thinking about the whole, there's just so many dang stairs in this house. It's such a pain. Anyway, does anybody have any experience with this? With a vertical tendon tear in your ankle? Share it in the comments below. I will give you an update after I have my MRI. Well, probably after I have the MRI and then I've had the appointment, the follow-up appointment with the doctor so I can tell you what he says. Because obviously, just going to the MRI isn't going to tell me anything. See you then. Hi there. Please forgive how I look. It's about 10:30 on Friday night, April 9th. And this is the day after I saw the doctor again. And I just took a shower. That's why my hair is wet and I'm about to go to bed. But last night when I was getting ready for bed, I noticed more specifically what the doctor was referring to when he said I had a pretty good sized cankle on the right side. I mentioned earlier that I didn't know what that term meant and I had to look it up when I got home. I thought at first he was referring to swelling around the area of the bone, which I'll show you in a minute. But when I got home and I was getting undressed that night, which I didn't have my phone upstairs with me then, so I couldn't film it and I didn't want to bother last night, I realized now I was not looking high enough on my leg. And after I looked up what cankle means, which it's a combination of the words calf and ankle, cankle. And it's an unusual thickness in the area where the calf and the ankle meet. And there can be a number of different causes for this, but I think in my case, his concern is that something wrong with the tendon that runs down the side of my leg and connects my leg to my foot is causing it. And there's still inflammation there or something. So I'm going to show you some things on my leg. And then the other thing I just wanted to mention, because my son Ben asked me this and I realized there may be people that don't know this either. I think I mentioned already that next week I'm going to be having an MRI. MRI, if you're not familiar, stands for magnetic resonance imaging and is a type of scan that I'm pretty sure does not have any radiation like an X-ray or a CT scan does. And the difference is that it uses magnets. If you've never had an MRI, they're very loud. I had an MRI once on my neck because I was in a car accident. I was rear-ended at a stoplight and I had damage in my neck, and I actually had to have physical therapy for quite some time. And that was my only experience having an MRI, and it completely freaked me out for any in the future, because you're in this tube and it's literally like right here. It's this close to you. And you have to hold really, really still for a very extended period of time. And if you weren't claustrophobic before that, you will be after. So that's my experience with an MRI. And it's very, very loud. It's like they're dropping a sack full of rocks downstairs over and over and over again. And if the technicians didn't talk to you while you were in the scan and like reassure you that you're not going to like go crazy and die, it would be unbearable. A lot of people, when they have an MRI, actually have to be sedated. But he did tell me if I had the MRI here in my town, I would have to go in the whole tube. But if I had the MRI in the neighboring town that's bigger, they can just do the bottom part of my body. So I said, I'll do that. But anyway, MRIs are best for when you need to get a good picture of soft tissue and soft tissue damage, whereas an X-ray is more designed for looking at your bones. Well, he's not interested in my bones. He knows we already took X-rays of my feet. He knows I don't have any broken bones in this leg or this ankle. He wants to look at the soft tissue, muscles, tendons, ligaments, and see what potential damage there is to those. All right, I don't know how well this is going to work. The lighting is really bad. Okay, I need you to ignore... this is really bad. I need you to ignore the line, okay, up here. That's where my socks were. Look here, okay. Now, first of all, you should be able to see pretty quickly. I can't get down there. This is the left one, and this is the right one, and this is the one we're talking about. It's definitely misshapen. And I thought he was talking about this. But if you look up higher, here, there's a bulge here too. That is what he's talking about. This is a terrible angle. I'm so sorry this lighting is so bad. Okay, here we're looking at the left one. I still think the left one looks flatter than it used to be. But as you can see, my ankle, it's basically just straight down. You know, it tapers like an ankle should. And, you know, I feel like this bone got flattened. I did ask him if the tenderness that I still have here is normal, and he said, oh yeah. He said people who break bones in their feet and their legs will still have tenderness like a year later, okay? Now here's the left one. Okay, so first of all, there's this. This to me is still a very obvious bulge. And I thought that, and maybe it is. Maybe that is what he's referring to. But to me, my calf is up higher. When I feel it right here, I've never felt up here before. And there is a very obvious bump when I feel it. It might not be so obvious when you look at it, but I mean, you can definitely see here, it goes whoop and then out again. And compared to this side, when I feel this side, there's nothing there. But when I rub over here, there is a very obvious bump or something right here. And then there's also this. So something is definitely going on over here in this region. And I'm not exactly sure which one is the cankle, but okay. And so the ligaments that we're talking about that I injured in this right one are here. And he specifically talked about that at my January visit. And this still hurts too, but only once in a while. And it's this. And this is the one where he said, practice moving your foot up and down. But where I'm really having the problem is over here, like back behind this bone, and then going up the side of my leg. And when I walk, the more I walk, the more this hurts.